Ba-boop, ba-boop. All right.
Was that our new theme song?
Ba-boop, ba-boop, ba-boop is our new theme song, Matt. Yes.
Yeah.
I figured that was the best way to work it, was to just do ba-boop, ba-boop, ba-boop from now on. I think it's good.
We're going to sing it in rounds.
Yeah, exactly. Also, good way to sync the audio. If we do it that way.
I love Daft Punk.
Yeah. All right.
It's their old stuff.
Are you? Yeah. That's Matt. You're very much denigrating Daft Punk. Come on.
No, I like Daft Punk. They're playing at my house.
Backpack in one hand, dog in the other. Sam's ready to go.
That's his dog bed. I was trying to get him to lay in it, but he doesn't want to lay in it.
All right.
Hopefully he'll just lay in my arms.
You guys got serious microphone setups. I'm kind of jealous.
Man, you got to get on the ball here. This is only Sam's second podcast. Look what she's got going on.
I know.
You've been doing podcasts for years at this point.
I got this guy.
It's a good mic.
We have this one, and we don't ever use it.
Yeah.
I just use it to whenever I sing around the house and annoy Mara, I grab it and I just do that. That's all it's used for.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a good mic. You just don't have a cool ass arm to put it on to talk into.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
There you go.
Okay, now I'm ready.
Just don't move for the whole rest
now
of
you
the
have to hold
show.
it there the whole time.
Yeah. It's heavy.
Your voice would sound so much richer and more beautiful, Matt, if it was that close to your mouth too.
Oh yeah. Hey. You're on with Matt.
You're on with Matt. All right. Let's see. Tomorrow was the 13th. That's what I said, right? Yep, that's what I said. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Today is July 13th, 2017, and you're listening to the Talking Games podcast. I'm Bobby Shortle, and I'm here with Sam Suvak. Did I say it right that time? Suvak.
No, but yes, there you go.
Okay, all right.
That's
there
it.
we go.
Hi.
Hi, Sam. Thank you for joining us once again.
Oh yeah, glad to be here. We didn't sync our start Audacity. Do we need to do that?
Shit balls. Yep, we do. We're going to restart this thing right now. Are you ready? All right, are you ready?
Oh, no, I'm not. Sorry. Sam is absolutely right.
I just totally forgot. I was like, oh, I'm recording. It's fine. And I just went.
Well, I've done this more than Sam. I should have had this down.
I know. You guys are really dropping the ball here.
I know.
Come on.
I'm so sorry. Where's the damn garage band?
Matt brings out the worst in me. That's why.
It's a curse. Hold on, it's bouncing up and down.
Sam, actually, one thing from the last time, I think your headphones might be a little bit, or a little loud in your headphones because it's picking up on your mic. So there's a little bit of an echo that goes into the microphone. So if you can turn this down to as low as is comfortable for you, that would be primo. All right, cool. That was the one thing. Your audio sounded great last night. That was the one thing. It was there was a slight echo. So just to let you know. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've turned it down, so
all right.
hopefully
Yeah.
I
want you to be able to hear us, obviously. So only turn it down to a certain point. But
well, do you want me to? Should I move the mic a little bit further away?
That could have helped too.
Help?
Yeah. And you're playing loud, so yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice.
So we'll just move that there. Hopefully that'll be good. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. So are we ready to start recording? Whenever you're ready, so go ahead and start recording because I've got you guys a backup on my side, so I can sync that up that way.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go.
Yeah. Go.
No. Okay. It's going.
It's going. Matt, are you going? No, I can't hear you now. So that's.
I can't hear.
I can't hear Matt. None of us can hear you.
No, I can't hear you.
You did it again, didn't you, Matt?
Let's try to guess what Matt is saying.
I don't know. He's saying, "Oh my God, you can't hear me." Now he's gone.
Uh-oh.
Now he's back.
Okay.
Is this working now?
Yes.
Am I recording?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you're recording. I can't see your recording software.
I am recording. I am
see your face
recording.
now.
It when I say things, it makes squiggles. So
Okay.
that's a good sign.
That's the technical term for it.
Yeah, there is a part at the beginning when you're going to hear me say, "Oh, and by the way, on the YouTube video of this, the last one I was on, we were talking about the hierarchy of curse words, and I'm so happy now that there's a YouTube video of me saying fucking cunt on.
Now there's two.
Yeah. Oh, great.
Oh, God.
Wonderful.
Now there's two of those.
Are your students going to be able to find this?
Only if my
watch
celebrity explodes to the young demographic, which I don't know.
They'll only be able to find it, Sam, if they search Matt Wood into Google. That's the only way they can possibly find it.
Luckily, the sound editor for Star Wars is still there, and a lot more famous than I am. He did the voice of General Grievous.
Oh. Well, if they ever find out you're on a podcast called Talking Games, they will find it very easily.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I'm pretty sure you put those two terms in the same search that you'll find yourself.
Yeah, it's not like I do. It's not like I'm not on that many podcasts. It's
just goes. All right. It's gonna get real dark in here real quick. I'm gonna turn some lights on. All right. Okay. Let's start this out here. All right. Hello, everybody. It is Thursday, July 13th, 2017, and you're listening to the Talking Games podcast. I'm Bobby Shortle. I'm here with Sam Suvak.
Yes, hello.
I got it right this time. And
good job, Bobby.
Thank you. It's only been, I think it's been about a year of me saying your name wrong, so we're off to a good start here.
Cool.
Second time on the podcast, I got it right, though, so I'll take that. And Mr. Matt Wood is here.
Hi, but it's Matt Woad, actually.
Okay. Sorry.
Nice.
It's all right. I've just been putting up with it for a while.
You and Mara both, huh?
Yeah, well, we just talk. That's how we wake up in the morning and people still say our names wrong.
You just get tired of fighting after a while. You just give in.
Yeah,
exactly.
When you and Mara, when Mara first started writing for the site, right? You guys weren't married yet, so her last name was still Whiteside at that point. Right. So, but whenever I have to email her, I always have to type in her maiden last name.
Yeah. It's almost like she's not proud.
Hedging her bets. She's hedging her bets. She's like, let me just keep the email address the same.
Well, on the books that she's putting on, the wood's still on there, so I can't. I don't know.
That's a good slogan.
The wood's still on there.
Matt Wood. Matt, you got a good beard. People aren't watching the video. You got a good beard going on. You really
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's summer, so I don't want to shave.
But wouldn't that be the opposite though? Because isn't it like super ass hot where you are?
It is. That is what the meteorologist says every day.
Yeah.
It is currently still super ass hot. July. No, it is. And the super ass is actually quite because it's really humid here, so it's swampy ass.
Yeah. It's been pretty devastating here too. It's been like 90 degrees and like 300% humidity for 3 days. So
yeah, it sucks.
How's it by you? Let's talk about the weather, all the stuff that the kids want to hear about. How's the weather by you, Sam?
It is also hot and humid, so
things
pretty much the same everywhere.
Yeah, it's shitty.
We're just a bunch of old people bitching about the weather.
Yeah, let's all move to San Diego, where it's 75 degrees and beautiful 365 days of the year.
I can't wait.
Oh yeah, Matt's going to San Diego.
I am. I'm so excited.
He's riding Mara's coattails all the way to Comic-Con.
Happily and proudly. Oh my god. I mean, wouldn't you?
Yo, totally, absolutely. Well, I rode Mara's coattails in podcast form, so and her good writing on the site, so I fully understand. Yes.
Yeah. They were talking about adding an additional panel for her to be on. I was like, oh my god, that's insane. But for a while, the only venue they could get was like on a boat behind the convention center. And I was like, that's a thing. And like, apparently there are tons of panels on boats.
That's amazing.
So I wonder if there's like some kind of weird, sketchy maritime law rule. Or is people getting married on them or something?
I don't know. Suddenly, I'm picturing Arrested Development with them out on the boat.
For sure.
Yeah.
Are those like, police boats?
I used to see like that's the only panel where like people are in. And this is also San Diego Comic-Con, so half of them are nerdy-ish. So yeah, they're going to get like seasick on that thing. So I don't know.
What are you gonna do? Yeah, so we've got some games to talk about. We're gonna do some listener questions. That's gonna be our main focus this week.
Yeah.
And we're also gonna kind of talk about, we all do videos in actually 3 totally different ways. So we're gonna talk about how we do those, and also talk about, you know, gear you can get to upgrade and stuff like that. You know, if you're looking to do that kind of stuff. I've had a lot of questions over, especially the last couple of months, about that, including from Sam. So we're gonna kill 2 birds with 1 stone and do that all right here. Well, it's like you're gonna see our production meeting right here live on the Talking Games podcast. And also, if people don't know, I'm sure that everyone who listens to the show already knows this, but I was on Talking Comics this week talking about Spider-Man. So if you want to hear more of this voice, you can hear it over there.
Did you talk about Young Sheldon?
You didn't talk about Young Sheldon. I had forgotten. I had blocked out Young Sheldon until you mentioned the CBS thing, and then it came flooding back to me, because that's the same place I did see that the Young Sheldon promo happened, and I turned to my friend and I go, "Is that the Big Bang Theory thing?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, definitely."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"What theater? What kind of theater did you see it in?"
I saw it in, like, you know, a reserved seating.
Was it AMC?
No, it was National Amusements, I guess is what it was.
Okay.
It was a Cinema de Lou, Island 16 Cinema de Lou.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Just a little tangent on the Sheldon thing, really quick. I think it completely misunderstands why that character is popular, and that's because of the actor who plays him. Like,
absolutely,
people love that guy.
Yeah.
They love him so much. So I don't think, like, just a little kid who has the same name is going to do as well. But again, the shows that are successful on CBS, I can't understand any of them, why they're popular, because quality doesn't seem to be a factor in how popular any of them are. So I don't understand. So
it's exclusively like parents. I think that's what it is, because like every show is like somewhat geared towards the 50-ish age range.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, this is kind of hip, or at least what you think is kind of hip.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, people love that. And and Mara's like she's about to hop on the CBS train with that Star Trek show, which is what I need is more Star Trek in my house.
But that doesn't count really as like CBS, because it's going to be on that streaming platform or what have you.
No, you're right. Star Trek does not count.
No, it counts as something good. I'm saying it doesn't count as the usual CBS programming slog. You know, it doesn't have David Spade or, you know, Ray Romano's brother in it or whatever. So, and also, you said it's like a parent thing. Do you think does that mean like on October 7th I'm gonna like all of a sudden love CBS?
Oh yeah, dude, you better be ready for CSI Cincinnati or whatever the hell they're showing nowadays. Yeah, I'm gonna CIS all the way, bro.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna stop understanding what the word cyber means and misuse it all the time.
You will only watch a show about computers if the computer makes sound effects as they're typing on it.
And somebody with like dyed black hair and giant glasses is like who wears like a crown when they use the computer is like how I'm gonna only understand computer stuff.
Cyber terrorism is scary.
It is. Anyway, off topic. Let's go back to video games. I'm not even gonna do a lightning round because I've been playing the same damn game, and I know people are gonna be sick and tired of me talking about it. So I'm not even gonna talk about it. There's a video with you and I. We played PUBG this weekend. It's going to be out this week. And then starting every Friday now, I've been doing morning run, and it's been kind of going back and forth. But every Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, I'm going to be playing PUBG with listener Megan. She is all the way in Australia, so the time difference actually gets so insane that it becomes easy for her to be on at the time I'm going to be doing it. So I can probably only play that game with people in wildly different time zones. So we're going to start thinking, we're going to, he was already told me that if I win with her and not with him, he's going to be very pissed. But what can I do? It's not my fault. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon for him on a Friday then. That's what
I've got to think about that game. I'm not playing.
No, I know. You're definitely not playing because you would have played with us if you were playing. Come on.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But my friend, co-host of Level Select, Ty Watson, he's been flirting with like building his own computer for a while, and over the past week he finally did it just to play that game.
Oh, well, we've got to share Steam names because we need more people in our squad. So
I'm not there yet, but.
It's a slippery
Just go ahead
slope.
and-
Sam and I were talking about this via text message today before she came on.
Yeah.
Which is
Oh, yeah.
which is how
I've
this whole
heard.
topic came up in the first place.
It's like a zombie bite.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It definitely is. So yeah, I've been playing Players on Battlegrounds. I put another 6-7 hours into it. I'm up to around 50 hours in that game now, which is nuts for me in a multiplayer game. I don't even know if I played 50 hours of Overwatch. So let's just say that's how crazy it is for me. And previously, Overwatch was like kind of like the standard for me in the last couple of years, or how much I play a multiplayer game. So, super still into it. You know, he and I had some good games. We're getting better. That's all I'll say. We're getting better, which is important. But the problem is we're getting good enough now where when we do really poorly, it starts to get annoying. You know, for me and not for both of us. You know, not as much as like, oh, it's just hilarious. Like, we suck at this game. Now we kind of know what we're doing. Like, we're still not great at it. I'm not saying we're great at it at all. But we're past the point of like, oh, like I heard shots. Let's just like run and hide. You know, it's like, oh, they heard shots. Let's see how we can get the people doing the shots. You know, so when we make stupid mistakes, it hurts. And we lost twice doing really stupid stuff, like stuff that we could have avoided. But I'm gonna play more of it. I play every Friday at 8:30 on twitch.tv/talkinggames. So check that out. And one day I'll boot my PS4 back up and play another video game that's not that game. Every time I'm like, oh, I should finish Nier, and it's like, but I could play PUBG. So that's happening right now. But Sam has been playing games that are not Players Unknown's Battlegrounds. So I'm gonna put 3 minutes on this lightning round clock here, and I'm gonna say go right now.
All right, so Lawbreakers had their closed beta about a week and a half ago, and I played quite a bit of that, and it is a fantastic game, you guys. So it's basically a 5v5 first-person shooter, and they've got different characters, different styles, and a lot of what's neat about this game is the low-gravity sections of the maps. In addition to, like, your characters have some good jumps, good movement ability, and then you get into the low G flying around, and it's crazy. It's fantastic. There's a field medic character that I thought was going to be like my main, because in Overwatch I play healers a lot, so this field medic has kind of healing orbs, kind of like Zenyatta, but then they also have a grenade launcher like Junkrat, and Junkrat was also one of my mains in Overwatch, so I was like, this is going to be perfect. But then somehow I started playing this Wraith character, and he's got a machine gun in one hand and then a knife in the other hand. He does is just like running up to people, sliding, hitting them with the knife, and then kicking them in the face, which it's so much fun. I'm not great at it. Still a lot of button mashing for me, but some reason I just love playing that character. And when the beta ended, I was taking the afternoon off from work to come home and get like the last bit of the ended, and it turns out it had ended at noon. So I came home and was like, nothing to play.
No.
So really bummed out about that. I know, I was so upset. But it comes out August 8th. It's $30, and it's going to be well worth it. So I highly recommend that, and I'm eagerly. So I also kind of went retro a little bit.
Ooh.
Started playing Wolfenstein: The New Order.
Not your kind of retro,
I
Matt.
never played any Wolfenstein before.
You had me all the way past the word Wolfenstein,
yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay. It's a good game. It is a good game.
Oh, no. Yes. Oh, my God, I'm loving the trailer at E3 for Wolfenstein 2, and I was like, what is this craziness? And I was too crazy for me, but this is like just the right amount of crazy, and it's such a fun first-person shooter. I know that there are probably other games where you get to like dual wield your guns, but like this one, what just came on the screen there? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did one of the stickers. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off, Sam.
Blew my mind there. All right. Yeah, so just something about at this game. I'm having a blast with it. And yeah, that's how much time do I have left? I'm done, right?
You have 18 seconds.
Any time left. Also, I forgot what else I was going to talk about. It's fine. That's fantastic. That's all good.
Okay.
I'll give Matt my extra 8.
All right.
So,
I'll use it.
Go crazy, Matt.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to play Lawbreakers in the beta. I was in it, but I didn't get a chance to play it that weekend. I am excited to try it out for sure. And Wolfenstein
it is so much fun.
Wolfenstein is excellent video game. Just like a fantastic video game. Yeah.
Yes. Keep reaching stuff, and I'm like, wait, what are they doing here? Okay, let's just go with it. This is great, sure. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sorry I missed out on it for so.
Well, one of the great things I think about this, the second game coming out, is I think it's made a lot of people who didn't play that game go back and play it. So it's really cool.
Yeah. I initially, when that game first came out, I was like, it was one of those cases of, it was like, I don't want to play this because I feel like all it is taking the name Wolfenstein, And I'm not even saying that like it feels like, oh, tonally it's, it really is but Doom hadn't come out at that point. So like it could have gone either way. And I was just erring on the side of caution, just saying, I don't want to play that because whatever, And, once Doom had come out and like I heard like, no, that like Wolfenstein is actually a really good game. And then, picked up and tried it out. And yeah, they're right. It is.
Yeah, up until very recently, before I played it, like I had no idea what the game was about, and I thought it involved like Wolfman Franken creatures, and it was going to be like a horror action adventure game. Which cool. I mean, someone still needs to make that because that would be fantastic as well. But this one, it's still great, even though it's not that.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, and the game like definitely harkens back to old school stuff, like the dual wielding, like two-handed guns with one hand, and like the way that you even pick up ammo and health, and sort of the over-the-top nature of that stuff is, it did a great job, but in much the way that Doom did in last year of taking a game, keeping its spirit, but updating it for a modern sensibility. And Machine Games, that was their first game as that studio, but they were a studio that made really cool first-person games in the past. The Riddick games and the Darkness games, which both do really cool stuff with first person. So it's neat to see that lineage sort of going forward with them. Did you haven't finished it yet, Sam?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
But I'm anxious to hear what you think of the end.
Pretty 80% done, I think.
Okay, because the ending is pretty crazy. So I'm anxious to hear what you think of it. All right, Matt, are you ready to go here?
All right.
I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock.
Absolutely.
All right, 3 minutes and go.
I have a confession to make.
Okay, what's your confession?
Well, 3 minutes, 18 seconds.
3 minutes, yeah, that is right. That is right. I kind of hate ARMS.
Uh-oh.
I mean, I was in that Nintendo denial where like, oh, this game's okay. And then it gets to that point where you're like, if I act now, I can get most of my money back.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, so I sold ARMS for Mario Kart. And, it's Mario Kart.
Wow.
It's a ton of fun, but I've already been playing that like 20 some odd hours or so. Like it's great. And I was not going to get it because I have it on the Wii U. Why would I rebuy it? And I basically like had that kind of money from GameStop. I wanted something for the Switch, and it was like I'm going to get Mario Kart because I want something to play, and it's awesome, and I like the extra features that they have in the game. The battle versus arena type levels are a ton of fun. So I've been playing a lot of that. I don't remember if the last episode I was on. I think it was the Super Nintendo one.
Yes,
and we kind of talked about Metroid and everything. And so I wanted to play Metroid. So I played through all of Zero Mission. It's great.
It's a good one.
Yeah, it's and while playing it, it's the first time I've played with Game Boy Advance like hardcore for a long time. And now, of course, I can't just ever be satisfied or happy. I want to. I have the faux Nintendo looking Game Boy Advance SP, but it has the frontlit screen, and the later models have the backlit screen. And yes, modding Game Boy Advance is a thing. So I think I'm going to be looking into that.
Oh boy,
I know. I can't just ever let something be. But yeah. Metroid Zero Mission is a great game. It's a lot of fun. I was looking forward to next week getting Splatoon, but then I knocked my tooth out, and so I decided to choose vanity over video games. So I decided to take the money from Splatoon and put it into my tooth fund, and well, I have a tooth now. So
well, that's not just vanity. I would say that's a little.
no. Well, in Arkansas, it's I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't perpetuate the stereotype, but yeah, and I couldn't go to San Diego with a big hole in my mouth, so
that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah. I didn't want to like go to Mara's panel and she like introduces me to like someone in the William Marston estate and like, hi, thank you for helping my wife with her book. So just I don't want to like go up to Walt Simon and say like, I love your Thor. Because once you have no tooth, you talk like that.
Well, I guess is that why it happens?
Yes, that's how it happens. There comes a time in every young Arkansan's life when they get a tooth knocked out and their voices change. But yeah, no,
when does that happen, Matt? Because you are 30.
Yeah, well, I actually knocked the tooth out when I was in my 20s. It wasn't the first time.
Okay.
I'll get into the story. It's a little embarrassing and shameful. So, in high school, well, no, I guess I was 18. I wasn't in my 20s. I was 18. But anyway, in high school, I was working out and I was swimming.
Your first mistake. First mistake.
Yeah, exactly right. I didn't have my goggles and I was doing a exercise that's underwater. And I know it sounds like I did water aerobics. I did not do water aerobics.
Okay, Matt. Geez, no.
Nothing wrong with water aerobics. Anyway, I forgot that there's an incline in the pool, and I smacked my face against it and broke my tooth off. They put in a temporary one. You're thinking, no. Put in a temporary one, and it had been in there for what? I'm gonna be 30, and God, I'm gonna be 30 in August. So like a good 12 years. And yeah, Saturday morning, we have a dog, and I might have. She likes to tug on a rope, and I shouldn't have done this as an adult. I decided to tug with her. I put the rope in my mouth, and all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh, wow, that tooth got knocked out."
You put the rope in your mouth?
Yeah.
Okay, because when you said, on the Discord, you're like, I was playing tug of war with my dog. I figured you were tugging, and then your hands flew, and you hit your face.
No.
Oh,
and here's
boy,
the thing, too.
Oh,
Mara had told me at least 5 times, you have that thing, too. Don't tug with the dog with your mouth. And I was like, well, what does she know? She knows a lot.
Yeah.
She knows everything. She's a smart person. She's a real smart lady. And
don't tell me what to do, Mara.
I can tug with my mouth if I want to. And, I put the.
I think now you've learned that you. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
You need to listen to Mara from now on, no matter what she says. Listen to
I
it.
acknowledge that you're right, but that lesson is not learned. But yeah,
I was just saying, no matter what Mara says from now on, listen to her. Yeah.
So I'll listen.
Yeah, you better listen. So I think this is just like kind of like a technical thing for us. Sam, I think you're on a little bit of a delay from us. Wait a second.
Yep. She certainly is.
Yes. So
it's quite a delay.
It's quite a delay.
So,
it's a pretty long delay. I don't know if you want to try like dropping out and coming back in. That might fix it. See? There we go.
Oh. Yeah.
It just got progressively worse as we went along, too, because like it started out just like a second or two, and then by then it was like we were having different conversations. By the end of
I noticed a small delay at one point, and then I was like, this is going to end up being a problem.
Yeah.
But there's that moment when you're like, can we like mentally play like jump in time with the conversation?
I can fix the audio to a certain point, but let's see. Hi, Sam.
Hi, Bobby.
Okay, it's better. Yeah, it's better. It's still a little bit, but it's way better. Yeah.
She's with us.
And actually, I planned this whole thing to be a great segue for us to get talking about equipment and how some of us might need to upgrade some of this computer. It's got some issues.
Okay, I like that. That's a very savvy way. You're really ahead of your game, ahead of your time when it comes to this podcasting stuff. For sure.
I do my best.
She's like a young Jimi Hendrix of podcasting.
Yes, exactly. She's like a what's the guy? Mark Maron? Is that that guy's name? What is that guy's name?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Maron. I know all about the podcasts. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Sam was asking me today. She was like, "Hey, do you think it'd be okay if we talked about like capture cards and stuff like that, because I'm interested she's interested in getting one and wanted to talk about it." And I said, absolutely. I get a lot of questions about this stuff. And I used to ask a lot of questions about this stuff too before I got into it. You know, I was constantly asking people I watched, like, what do you use? Stuff like that. So I think the best way to go about this, Sam, is for you to kind of start it off and like, let me know what questions you have and what you're thinking.
Okay. So basically I want to be able to record from my PS3, just bunch of stuff left over from that system that I'd like to get on video. I was looking at stuff online, and there's, I don't know, something about HDCP and copyright stuff, and stuff doesn't always and like you need a special PS3, but sometimes the audio doesn't come, run through the computer, and then I run into my computer issue, which is it doesn't work worth shit. So that's probably part of my problem, me getting a capture card. But I didn't even know like what the proper technique is to get stuff from a PS3.
Okay, that's a great question, actually. I mean, that's so let's start with this. So basically what Sam is talking about, people don't know, like basic. A capture card is a device, usually a little small device. It's usually, you know, like if people are watching the video, it's like this big, but it's the size of like a couple, like probably a little bigger than an index card, really, but much thicker, obviously, but about the size.
I think like sunglasses case.
Yeah, sunglasses case is probably a good touchstone for that. Or even like a little external hard drive. It's usually about the size of that. And basically what it usually has is like an HDMI port on it. Some of them have others, but most of them have an HDMI port on it. And a USB cable that would go into your computer to capture the footage that you're taking, and basically allows you to externally capture footage from a console to a computer. Now, this was a much more vital device for just anybody wanting to do it before the modern generation of consoles, right? Because the PS4 and the Xbox One said, guess what? You're going to be able to stream and record, at least in a limited sense, because I think there's a limit on how long the clips can be when you're recording internally. Sam, you would know way better than I would because you do a lot of videos with the internal recording.
It's an hour.
It's an hour. Okay, that's still good though.
Oh, that's generous. That's not bad.
Yeah, you gotta set yourself a little timer when you start recording, because if you really get into it, you forget to pay attention, you go over, all of a sudden you're missing the first part of your recording, which if you'll go back and look at that Heroes Hideout video that came out today, you'll see a little bit of what I'm talking about there. Right. Very important to set yourself a timer.
Yeah. So what I'll say is like, Sam uses all internal stuff on her PS4. She uses Share Factory, and there's a great video that she put up, What Is of Share Factory, where she goes into how that works. And the amount that the place that it's come is pretty impressive comparatively, because when I first started like just dabbling my foot in it, there was no way to do that, right? The PS3 and the Xbox 360 were not powerful enough to do anything like that, and so you needed external gear. So that's pretty cool. So if you're just looking to dab your toe into it and see if you like it, like that's a pretty good way to do it if you have one of those two main consoles. Like Sam and Cody both produce pretty good videos with good quality, considering the fact they're recording internally without any external gear at all, except for a headset or a microphone to get in there. Now, when you go back to stuff like the PS3, obviously there's something there. Now, the PS3 is a special case. So you mentioned HDCP, which is security that's put onto HDMI signals, basically. Now, so if you were going to capture, the Xbox has never had a problem with this. Like the Xbox 360, you could capture easily with an HDMI cable, and the Xbox One does the same thing. The PS4 has a setting, has a toggle. You can go into the settings and turn off HDCP so you can capture game footage. But you can't. So it's to basically protect you from going onto Netflix or to Amazon or to Vudu and buying a movie and then capturing that movie and basically stealing the movie and be able to repurpose it for yourself at a full quality. The PS3 is HDCP protected, and there's no way to turn it off. The way that you get around that is a lot of the capture cards, and I can speak for. The Elgato, which Matt has, he has there's newer versions of all these cards. The version Matt has, I know for sure because I had it, has adapters, and so there is an adapter in there that's for the PS3. And basically, what it allows you to do is plug into the AV out port on the PS3, which goes composite or component cable out. So you can use I believe it's red. It's green, blue, red. I don't remember. I think that's what it is.
Composite.
A component out.
Which
is still HD, but it's not the same thing as HDMI, and that can't be copy protected. Yeah. So you can go out that way, and it will allow you to do that, capture PS3 footage that way. I have an AverMedia card. I have the AverMedia. Let me see. I have actually right here. The AverMedia Extreme Cap U3. Which is cool because it's USB 3.0, which means that I can actually capture and watch my footage on the same screen. So basically, I can bring my PS4 over to my computer and plug it into the capture card and plug that into my computer and play right in the interface and have no lag because it's USB 3.0. USB 2.0 stuff won't let you do that. Most cards have a way for you to use PS3 stuff, some sort of component input that you could use. Some of them have an adapter that plugs right into the back of the PS3. That's like the AV out, but you'll have to look into the different cards for what they do. They also have cards though that capture things that you don't need a computer for. Like Hugh has one, which I think is called the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable, which you plug like an SD card or an external hard drive into, and you can capture everything right onto there. And then you can transfer the files over to a computer if you want to, and edit or do whatever you want to do, or transfer them to whatever. And it records an MP4, which you might actually be able to bring into Share Factory as well, Sam. I'm not sure how compatible all those things are with one another. But yeah, it's going to come down to the card. Like I know the Elgato stuff and the AverMedia stuff usually comes with adapters for it, but you have to make sure that there's something other than HDMI in to the capture card, or you cannot capture PS3 footage. That's basically how it works.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then if you want to use a microphone to record your audio over, I think some of them have an input into the capture card, or would you just record on your PC separately and then splice them together?
Yeah. So
what do you think?
Yeah. All the external ones that are completely external, have some sort of probably 1/8 inch jack in them, looks like a headphone jack that you can plug in a headset to, or some sort of line into it to get chat audio into it. I know the one Hugh uses has that. If you're capturing if you have the one that you need a PC for, then no, it won't have an audio in for your chat headset. You have to do that through the computer. Like the one that Matt has, the Elgato, it has software. It has Elgato capture software, and you can add your mic right in there, and it'll keep it in sync, so it stays synced up.
Absolutely. And a lot of times what I do, I use that. I use the commentary function, but a lot of times what I will also do, just because I'm overly cautious, and also because when we record, we record both Ty and I playing the game so we can capture our reactions. I make sure that we record kind of twice over, I guess, as far as the audio is concerned.
Yeah.
We have essentially GarageBand, or well, actually, we use like iMovie, but we have that capturing the audio too. So actually, Ty and I, when we edit, we have about 3 or 4 different audio files where we have like the game audio, we have just our audio, even though it sounds like shit. We're about to get better mics, I promise. But also we have, what's being recorded kind of in sync through the Elgato.
Yeah, and that's actually a very important point. And I also the same thing is that, let's say when we record Monster Closet, I'll give you that as an example because it's like a tangible thing that people could look at and see how we do it. We don't do face cam yet, which we are gonna do. We're sort of limited also because Justin's laptop, it's good for a laptop, but it's not good for video production. It's not good in that sense. So it can't handle the face cam and the footage at the same time, like in a program. I have to record it separately. But right now, let's just say what's there, which is the video footage of us playing and then us talking over it. I use to record the footage. I use the AverMedia software that comes with the card that I have. It luckily, and I think Elgato does the same thing, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, it records the game audio and our commentary track on separate audio files.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Which is incredibly handy.
Yeah, that is incredibly key, basically. If you're going to be recording into any sort of computer and it allows you to do this, always allow the option to record your voice and the game audio on separate channels, because it is really difficult, especially for what we're doing, and probably people out there too, to be a producer and to also be the talent, in quotes, doing what you're doing. So you can try to mix the audio the right way, but sometimes it just doesn't work. And
it's a real tedious process.
Yeah. And if your audio is, if you guys are too soft and the game audio is too loud, which that's the real biggest problem, right? If it's the other way around, it's not that big of a deal. Like you like people are there to hear your voices, and more than anything else. But if you accidentally record the game audio too loud and your voices can't be heard very well, you're screwed. There's nothing you can do about it. So recording them separately. So I recorded it separately on 2 separate tracks. And then I am incredibly anal about this kind of stuff. I also have Audacity open at the same time, recording a backup of Justin and I's voices, just in case anything goes wrong. And one episode of Monster Class that we recorded, the mic that was set in the software was the webcam mic, not our mixer. So the audio that was recorded into AverMedia was atrocious. Like, we never could have used it. And I had the backup, thank goodness, right? So that's a big deal. The thing always happens, right? And it's true of everything. The more power you have as far as like a computer goes, the easier this stuff becomes, right? Because you're not doing a bunch of workarounds. But the reason I just didn't stream out Monster Closet in the first place, ever did it, was because it's also a backup of our recording. I was like, how can we get a backup of the visual in case something goes wrong with the visual of the recording? And that was, let's stream it out. So if the worst comes to worst, there is this version of it that lives online that will work. So when I'm at home, like,
are you guys, when you're,
go ahead, Sam.
When you're streaming Monster Closet, are you streaming to Twitch from the PS4 directly?
Yes.
Or are you going? Okay. Sometimes when you're streaming, are you using OBS?
So that's the other thing. Monster Closet, because of it's a pretty good example because there are technical limitations with Justin's rig, so I have to use the workaround of streaming through the PS4 from his, so that the computer load of recording and the computer load of streaming are separate from each other, because it couldn't handle both. What I'll say is that if you have a power enough computer, which I do at home, basically, I use a program called OBS, which is called Open Broadcaster Software. It's completely free, and it's a super powerful piece of software. The one thing I'll say that's the downside of OBS is that there is a lot of freedom in what you can do with OBS. So there's a lot of points of failure in the OBS process. A lot of them. Now they've done a little better because now they have this like setup wizard that you can run, which is new in the last like 2 or 3 months. You can set up wizard and say like, what do you want to do? Do you want to prioritize streaming or recording? You pick that one. You have to pick like, what are you targeting? Like, do I want it to be 1080p? Do I want it to be 720p? Do I want it to be 30 frames a second? Do I care if it's 60 frames a second? And then it runs an auto wizard for you. And it goes like, okay, here are the settings that work for your computer and your internet connection. So that's pretty cool. And then it's like kind of just go. And yeah, you don't have as much freedom because there's a lot of stuff you can do. But if you're just looking to get up on your feet and do it, it's a pretty good thing. What I will always say is that until you get comfortable doing what you're doing, do one or the other. Like stream or record, you know, or if you're going to stream and record, have the stream, only care about the stream as a backup. Don't be focusing on it because it's a lot to handle at one time. At some point I'm going to do a video about how I do like the Battlegrounds videos I do when it's like Hugh and I's cam in the video, and how I get the audio to work the way it does and all that kind of stuff. But I will say that like I'm a crazy person. So I've got a lot of gear and I've got a lot of different ways to make things work that have accumulated over years of basically trying and failing in different aspects. I've done so much podcasting and so many different podcasts that I have so many ways to capture audio. It's effing ridiculous. Like I have so many microphones. I have more microphones than like a band would have. So, and so many mixers and all this kind of stuff, like that you know, it's a little unrealistic for me to say like this is how I do it and this is exactly how you should do it, because that means would you go out and spending hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars to get what I'm doing. But I will say this, that a lot of the issue with doing this stuff comes from when you want to add more than one person into the equation, right? Like. And I think Matt can speak to this too, right? Matt, if it was just you doing the streams or doing the recordings, you have a mic plugged into your computer, you have the TV in front of you, you have a camera on your face, and it's super easy, right? It's like, everything is simple. Once you add a second, even one other person into the mix, it becomes 100 times more complicated. Because even
if they're right there with you.
Exactly. Yes.
And, because I mean, so sorry, I was
go.
Like I'm discovering now when I'm editing these things, like, so I'm sitting on a couch with Ty, right? Mm-hmm. And we are playing a game, and, you know, part of the appeal, or what I think is, or what I'm trying to have the appeal outside of toy robots for the show is, you know, it's just us talking while we're playing video games like we would normally do. And the problem with that is, on a technical level, say I am just talking like this. Well, it's going to sound a lot different if I'm turning and I talk like this. Mm-hmm. And, you know, even though it's a very minor thing, it's one of those things. If someone's engaged in the show, they're kind of getting like oh, Matt, quit turning your head, you know, like quit. Yeah. But at the same time, you want to be able to have that kind of natural conversation, because that's, you know, I feel like the moment that it becomes, I'm giving a book report on freaking DuckTales, that's not necessarily interesting, because I've heard everybody's book report on DuckTales that I want to hear, you know?
Yeah.
I want to have a normal, natural conversation, but yeah, like, so we're experimenting with like lapel mics. We're experimenting with, you know, all kinds of different things. And going back to what you were saying about, you know, like, how you do it one way, but you don't necessarily recommend everybody do it that way. What I'm kind of learning is, you kind of, I mean, listen to other things. I watched online tutorials. I listened to Bobby. Find out, kind of like, take bits and pieces of it and ultimately find out like just what works for you.
Yeah.
Because it can drive you up the wall. It really can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It is. Look, I do video stuff. If people, I'm sure people know this, but like, I do video stuff for a living. Like, that's what I do, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm a video professional, for lack of a better term. I'm a cinematographer. I'm an editor. I do this stuff for a living. And nothing in my life has vexed me more than the process of getting the streams to look and sound the way that they do now. Like, it was a huge growing pains process for me. And you know, some of fixing it was, like I said, it was throwing money at the problem, right? That's part of it for sure. And I'm in a very lucky situation now where I've got a pretty good setup for both situations. Like with Justin, I'll explain quickly how we work the whole like. And here's a tip too for the PlayStation microphone stuff. If you're just using the PlayStation, the secret of the PlayStation is, yeah, you can use a chat headset, but also any USB microphone or simple USB mixer will feed audio into the PlayStation and it recognizes it, or the Xbox. So like if you have a Yeti mic or any other USB mic, if you plug that into your PlayStation, it will recognize it as your headset, and you're able to then use it as like if you want to use it as your voiceover mic for when you do videos or live streams. That's an incredibly important thing to remember because like you actually have a lot of options and power for relatively cheap if you're just looking to sit down in front of your PlayStation and do streams that sound good. There's always you're always going to be throttled to PlayStation as far as the quality of the video the stream spit out. It spits out 1080p, but depending on your internet and depending on what the PlayStation is feeling like that day, the quality might be pretty good or it might be kind of shitty. So like you're at the mercy of that, but if you don't care about that, like just getting on your feet and doing it, if you spend $150 on a relatively like the Yeti mic, you're gonna get pretty good quality voiceover on your videos. And I gotta tell you, that's one of the most important things, and that's one of the things that people tend to forget sometimes, is your audio of your voice is probably the most important thing that you are capturing in any moment. It's the part that people will tune your stuff out like that if you sound like crap. They won't listen. But Justin, so basically what happens is I have our podcasting set up at Justin's for talking games, our usual podcasting setup, and we have two very good mics. These are not realistic mics for people to buy, and they're way overkill for people to buy. Like Sam, the microphone you're using right now, how much you spent on that microphone?
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It was $50 between the mic and the power source. So,
okay, the big delay is back.
Oh man, that was.
Yeah, she knew.
She's gone.
She knew.
Oh man.
So for the mic and the power source, like she was saying, it was $50, right? And she sounds pretty good, right? She sounds good. You don't need to spend more than that in order to get something doable. Sam is back.
Hi. Can you hear me like right now?
Yes, I can hear you like right now. That was pretty good. That was like
2 seconds delay.
Yeah, 2 seconds delay. That one was your video was in about a 2-second delay, but your audio was like in like a 10-second to 15-second delay. It was nuts.
Yeah.
I kind of implore people to watch the video.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
There's a moment where Bobby asked a question and Sam is just smiling and nodding, and it's real good. Yeah. It's real good.
Oh, great.
So $50
felt like
for
I was
the
back
mic.
in the classroom.
$50 for the mic and the power source, right?
Yes.
And
yeah.
And you sound good, Sam. I asked you what mic you bought because like I always get asked like, oh, what mic should I buy? How much should I spend? And I'm my sort of like mind is sort of like warped on this stuff because I've done it for so long, right? I don't know what like the hey, I'm just getting into this. This is what I'm gonna buy thing is anymore. So like we have two really good mics that go into a mixer. Now, if people don't know what a mixer is, it's like that big. It's like I want to show people, but like not everyone's watching this video. It's a thing that has inputs all over it and dials all over it and looks really super complicated, right? But this mixer is a simple USB mixer that plugs into the computer and sends a simple like stereo input. No matter how many people are jacked into it, a simple stereo input into the computer. The computer reads that and then takes in the audio. And that's what I use to record the podcast. It's also what we use to record our voiceover commentary for Monster Closet. Now, we also have to get that audio into the PS4. some way. And the simple way to do that is to get in USB. Now, this is where my situation is unrealistic. So just listen to me when I say very unrealistic, all right? I have another USB mixer that I bought 5 years ago. That's like this little itty bitty thing, super simple, that basically I run a cable out of the big mixer into that mixer and then plug that little mixer into the PS4. And that allows me to get the same audio going into both places. This is what I mean by when you have more than one person, it's super complicated, right? Like if it was just one person, it would not be that complicated, but so it goes, right? And that's also because I'm recording a backup, right? That's also because I'm super anal about this stuff. When it comes to like streams I do at home on OBS, the least complicated of which is like the morning run, which is just me, my camera, and my mic. I'm basically, depending on what game I'm using, I'm either running my console into my capture card and into my computer, opening up OBS, and I'm not going to tell you to use OBS. It's a whole other process, but that'll be a whole another conversation. But putting it into OBS, putting my camera and my mic overlay on there, and just hitting stream and going. Same thing when I do Battlegrounds. And here's the other thing that's unrealistic. Okay, I have my game PC, which I built 3 years ago by my TV. But I also have, because I'm a professional editor, I have like a really nice iMac like that I use to do editing and stuff like that at my desk. So I actually use my capture card to capture my PC and bring it into the OBS software on my desktop computer, and then I use like simple browser capture stuff in OBS to put Hugh's face up there next to mine, and then just capture his audio like way it comes out, because it can capture voice very easily. It's complicated, but once you sort of figure it out, it's not as complicated, but it takes gear, and that's the kind of thing that happens when you do this kind of stuff. So that's a very long way to answer Sam's question. Sam, did you have any other things you want to talk about as far as production or anything like that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Am I on a good delay?
It's okay. It's not as bad. It's not as
going
bad.
For an hour?
No, it's like 5 seconds.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, no, that was good. Thank you. I appreciate it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I'll do is in the comments or in the post, I'll put links to like the stuff that we use. You know, like Matt, I'll put your capture card in there, and the Yeti mics, and the mic that I use, and the mixer that I use, and the mic that Sam uses, stuff like that, so you can get a sense of what it is. But I really, if you're just like super intimidated by this stuff, and you have a PS4 or you have an Xbox One, like, watch Sam's What Is Share Factory video, because that will give you a very good taste of how you can start doing stuff and it not be scary, right? It's a great place to start. Once you want more options, and I think Sam is starting to like get to this point a little bit. You start to be like, what else is there out there for me to do stuff with? You know. But until you get to that point, it's a great place to start. I think that people too often go in and dump a ton of money into gear and software and all this kind of stuff before they really realize what they want to do and how they want to do it. So I think that's the best thing you can possibly do.
Frankly, for me, without getting too much into a game room setup discussion, the thing I was most surprised to discover when I started off doing this was how much easier video is than audio. It's just video, it's just unreal. I thought video was going to be, especially because I try to play all my stuff through original consoles. And I thought that was going to be just a nightmare because like how do you capture something that has a HDMI output and hook it up to the NES? But like as far as Elgato is concerned, like their accessories page on their website, they have a RCA adapter that hooks right into, it's like RCA to S video, and it hooks directly into the Elgato. The biggest pain that I had to do was I had to mod my NES for it. But I didn't even have to do that. Honestly, I could have just daisy chained it. I have a VCR, and I could have just done that, and it would have I would have been able to capture it directly from that. But yeah, like it's crazy how, I mean, as far as the video is concerned, I mean, I'm not trying to say that, you know, the video quality of our show is perfect or whatever, but honestly, it's surprising what you can get away with. I mean, when we're playing those video games, I mean, I know you don't see the TV that we're playing on, but it's like a 2000, like it's a tube TV. I mean, it's not there's not an HDMI hookup on that thing.
Yeah.
And yet we're still able to capture it directly from there to the computer.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, the good thing about video is like, if it looks good, it's good. You know, that's the thing about video. There's so much more to audio, which is like the thing that like it drives everybody nuts. It drives people who do this for a living nuts. Audio always is the thing. But yeah, and I would say if anybody has any other questions about this stuff, please send them into us, talking_games on Twitter or games@talkingcomics.com. Like, I love answering questions about this stuff. Like, it's one of my favorite things in the world. So like, I love answering stuff. And like, the cool thing is now we have so many different people doing this stuff. Like Matt has a totally different experience than I have, and Sam has a totally different experience, and Cody has a totally different experience, and Hugh has a totally different experience. So we have a good breadth of knowledge about different ways about doing things, you know? I will say too, if you're a PC person and you're thinking about this stuff, if you have like a nice PC, like a nice gaming PC, like, your graphics card, your AMD graphics card or your NVIDIA graphics card, there is a piece of software that comes with it that basically goes like, hit this button and we will record your voice and the gameplay and your webcam if you want, you know. And even like, even now Windows has it built in now too. They have like their own thing built in. Windows 10, the new update does the same thing. So you are able to just go boop, 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 and then like you're recording something. Spoiled. Yeah. And so if you're in the PC looking to do it that way, because like that, like you don't have to go through all the other stuff to do that. You know, just hit those buttons, and then again, it'll come to the point where you go, you know what? I wish I had more options. I wish I could do this, or I could add this, or I could do this, and then you start like moving yourself up to the next grouping of stuff. Watch some YouTube tutorials. I learned OBS by watching tutorials. I looked up. I looked up general tutorials, and then when I had a problem, I would search for that problem, find a video about it, and watch it. You know, that's like how you learn this stuff. It's not it's not a magic trick. You know, it's simple in a way, because it's just all that power at your fingers to search what you wanna do. But yeah, it's been cool because I feel like I finally sort of get it. And it's been like 2 or 3 years of me trying to figure it out. And so, like, I'm pretty confident now about it, which is nice because I've never been confident about it before. All right, so let's do some listener questions, huh? This time, Sam, there isn't a listener question from you. So we're going to break that trend.
Oh, well.
Our first one is from Cody. Cody Tetrick. And he says, what's your favorite Disney movie? You want to go first?
Not Disney movie game, just Disney.
No,
movie?
Disney movie. Just Disney movie.
Live action cartoon. No,
just Disney movie. He just says Disney movie. He didn't say animated.
I want to make this more complicated, Bobby.
I would say it has to be a Disney studio, at least Disney Studios. Like it can't be like a Buena Vista or a Touchstone. You know, it's got to have that castle at the front. You know, with
okay. No Marvel, no
Marvel, no Star Wars, no.
Okay. Well, Sam, I'm gonna let you go.
That breaks. Because mine was going to be The Force Awakens.
Oh, Sam, cheater. Against
now I have to.
Against
I guess if it's not going to be that, I know. Probably I would go with either Lady and the Tramp or 101 Dalmatians if I have to go with traditional. So
old school.
I like that sultry dog that sings in Lady and the Tramp.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What a dog! That one.
Oh yeah.
I like her a lot. She's an all right dog.
Oh man. Okay.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Matt, what's yours?
Great Mouse Detective.
Oh, you're like a hipster with this stuff, huh?
I'm not a
That's how I
hipster.
broke his tooth, really.
That movie came out when I was a kid. I like it.
I know. Oh, I like the Great Mouse Detective. I'm so cool. I don't like any of the ones that everyone knows.
Fine. Aladdin's great.
I'm joking. Great Mouse Detective is awesome.
I think it's a really cool movie.
Yeah, it's a good Sherlock Holmes.
Vincent Price is in that movie.
Yeah, yes he is. My favorite Disney movie. It's boring to say like Aladdin, definitely. But Aladdin is one of my favorites. Aladdin's probably my favorite, but I think Beauty and the Beast has the best music. I think that's my way of thinking about it.
I agree. I'm more of a, like, as far as soundtracks are concerned, I love. God, I know, but the Little Mermaid soundtrack is so well written. Like that, is it Alan Menken?
Yes,
Yeah.
Alan Menken.
Yeah. It's on another level. He also did Beauty and the Beast, which is really good. But I think Little Mermaid it's really good.
I think that's my favorite. I think that's definitely my favorite. I do really love Sword in the Stone and Robin Hood. I do love both of those movies. When I was like a little kid, those are my two favorites. Definitely, those ones I watched like on repeat, for sure.
Sword in the Stone's real good.
Yeah,
it's real good. I do. You call me a hipster, but I do genuinely like some of the more weirder. Oh.
No, she's on the delay again. Because you can see her reacting in actual time on the video, but in audio it comes so later. She dropped again. This is weird. We didn't have this problem last time.
Yeah.
Internet.
I like some of the weirder Disney movies. I like Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I think that one's really cool.
I love Bedknobs and Broomsticks.
Yeah, right.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's such a bizarre movie.
It is.
The Black Cauldron's it's just a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's weird that Disney made it.
Yeah.
You know?
Black Cauldron is so strange. Black Cauldron, I had like one of those like little like picture book adaptations of it, like it and I read that 1,000 times before I ever saw the movie, because the movie was really hard to find, like on VHS.
Oh, it was such a flop that Disney has pretty much just, no, we'll never touch it again.
Yeah, so in my mind, it exists mostly as that book, which is crazy in a lot of ways.
In Disney's defense, Mara and I were literally talking about this like a week ago. But like Black Cauldron should have done well. I mean, Secret of NIMH came out right around that time, and it was a hit. You know, D&D was as big as it ever has been in like the mid '80s. Like, I don't blame Disney for trying the Black Cauldron, but no, it bombed.
Yeah, it bombed really bad. Okay, so next question. This is from Kyle Springer. He asked this on our Discord, on our Patreon Discord. Do you guys think games like Firewatch, etc., these short experience kind of games, have any merit as a longer AAA title? Or maybe just longer game in general, since a lot of these don't have AAA appeal? Or would those games lose that experience being that long? You know, I'm a huge fan of games like this, and I think that wanting them to be longer experiences would probably take away from what makes them special in the first place, which is being these very tight, very very intense and personal experiences that you have in a couple of hours, like a film, and then you move on from. The longer they go on, because they're so story based, because they're not based on a mechanic that you're going to repeat over and over and over again, the chance for boredom obviously comes in because you're not doing anything mechanically interesting, but also the longer a story goes, the more holes it has, the less chance that it is a quality experience all the way through. I think that the closest you get to something like this is like The Last of Us, right? That's the closest you get to one of those stories writ large. But in The Last of Us, there is hours and hours and hours and hours of just regular video game playing, right? Where you're shooting stuff with a gun. Like, that's like what you do. If you had a gun in Firewatch, it wouldn't really be the same type of thing. I don't know, Matt, you just played Firewatch, didn't you?
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. Like you mentioned, The Last of Us. And there's a lot of people that the popular belief is like, oh, that's the real theatrical video game. Like that would like it would be a great movie. Like that game could have came out as a movie, and people would have loved it. I'm like, I don't think people would have. I don't, I mean, it's a fantastic game because it's, like it exists in that medium. Like, I mean, I make same discussion when it comes to comics a lot of the time. It's like, yeah, Watchmen's great as a comic, but when it's a movie, yeah, it's polarizing and people like have opinions about it and all this other stuff. It's one of those things that I feel like video games should embrace the medium and what they are. And I think games like Firewatch, when they're these short experiences, like if you want to be really story based, if you want people to really have a story that sticks, I think those shorter experiences are good. And also, we're now in a point where you don't have to charge $30 for that or $40 like that. I bought it for $7, and how much was it when it originally came
20.
out? Maybe 15,
20.
20. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's $20 if you're if it's a good story and you played it for 4 hours. I mean, isn't that worth it?
Yeah, I mean, if you bought it, it's more than you get out of a movie, right? If you buy a Blu-ray or something like that, and almost the same as buying a movie ticket. And yeah, absolutely, I agree. What do you think, Sam?
So I haven't played Firewatch, but I played Gone Home, and I love it so much. And I feel that keeping it short a short time frame is the perfect thing for me. I'm going to have a pretty unpopular opinion here, but I tried to play The Last of Us, and I didn't get very far in it. I mean, it seems like it's a good story, but it's just there's so much slow walking and talking to tell the story that I start to get bored because it feels like it is a real video game and I want to be doing like more video gamey things while I'm playing. And so having those mixed into the longer form really wasn't working for me. And so I still haven't finished that game, even though I know that it's, everybody says it's like one of their favorite games, and I'm sure it does have like this fantastic story. Just like my attention span is not able to stick it out through that. So I think keeping it in a shorter time frame is definitely the way to go. Keep it more contained, keep it more like a movie. I'm done talking.
Sam, I completely agree with you. I think nowadays people are finally starting to be a little bit honest about The Last of Us. I think, and I played it when it came out, just like most people did. It's not like a movie in which you can revisit every couple of years, and we're just not at that point yet. Yeah, I could see handing someone a copy of The Last of Us like 3 years out. I think a lot of why we were so invested is the popularity of the game at the time, and it's I don't know, it's one of those weird things where you have to kind of embrace. Like I mentioned, embracing the medium. You have to understand that a video game is not a movie, and it has merits that movies don't. Just like movies have merits that video games don't. And while they can have similarities, expecting the same experience out of both of them, I think I don't think that's a good way to approach something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, and I didn't mean to spin this off into discussion about The Last of Us, but I think that I think that the thing about The Last of Us is that, for a big budget AAA game, and I know we have listeners who disagree with me about this, and I totally am not saying that I'm 100% right about in my thinking about this. For a AAA big budget video game, it has an excellent story that it attempts to tell in a mature way, right?
Sure.
To me, the problem with The Last of Us is that I think playing The Last of Us is the least good part about The Last of Us, right? And there's so much of the shooting in The Last of Us and all and the combat that it takes away from it for me, which is why I put it on easy and just was like, I just want to get through. I just want to see the story. You know, I don't care. I don't care about being good at this combat, right? That's why I think that games like. I think games that set out to tell a ambitious and interesting story that allow you to do the video gamey thing of dying and having to repeat sequences take away from what makes a story special, unless and effective, unless that is part of the story. You know, unless that's and like I haven't finished Nier right yet at all, but what I understand is that Nier uses its video gameness to tell its story, and so I think that like. That's a very interesting way to go about it, right? Like, that does something for me. Like, if you could die in Firewatch, it wouldn't make the game any better. You know, it would make the game worse. And so I think that games need to realize this at some point. Like, that's why like a game like Until Dawn, which if you mess up, okay, fine. The story will continue just differently. And that's how I think that games that are focused on telling stories need to sort of learn their stuff from. Like, I love the Uncharted games, sticking with Naughty Dog. They tell good stories. They have great characters. But when I die because I didn't hit the triangle button at the right time in this big, huge action sequence, like, that it doesn't make it more rewarding to me when I hit the triangle button the next time. You know, like, if I have to rewatch, like, this ancient building falling down the side of a mountain, it looks so cool. But once it's the second time around, it's not as interesting. And so I feel like making the games longer, like Firewatch and stuff like that, would probably put pressure on the developers to do more video gamey things like that. And I don't think that that's necessary. I will say a game like Night in the Woods, which we talked about a lot on the show, is longer. It's like 12 hours long, which is not like a 20-hour, 30-hour game. But 12 hours is a good... That's as much as your like Uncharted's usually are. And that's full-on story. Can't die, you can't do whatever, like, and go on, and that's a pretty good example for me. But yeah, I think making them longer would take away what's special about them. Yes, Sam.
So I just want to say one thing about Night in the Woods. Also, an unpopular opinion. I tried to play that game too, but I just didn't get invested in it. And I only got a couple hours in, and I was like, if this were just a game, I would stick it out and play. But knowing that it was that long, I'm like, oh, I can't stick it out through this. So that's another one that I haven't finished.
I'm booting you off, Sam. You're done now.
I'm done.
I think there's interesting discussions in regards to the fact that video games are interactive, whereas a movie, a book, a comic, a play, whatever, those are voyeuristic. You know, those are things you watch, whereas, you know, it's hard to tell a story in which you're having to interact as it's going on. And yeah, I that's the thing. I think that there's some very interesting experiments with that, like the Telltale stuff, like you mentioned, like the Until Dawn and all that stuff, or Gone Home, or whatever. But yeah, like I think you know, it's you know, it's one of those cases. There's a very interesting discussion to be had there.
Yeah, and it is, and I think it's a bigger discussion, and we're going to wrap up soon, so I don't want to get too far into it. But
sure.
I've always thought exactly what you're saying, which is that video games have this unique thing, unlike movies, unlike books, unlike music, unlike any other form of entertainment that is consumed on a mass scale, where you need a set of skills in order to see the content which is being delivered to you, right?
Right.
No matter how much a movie challenges you mentally, there's no barrier for you to see the end of it other than your own patience, right? And so video games aren't that, right? Video games, you need to be, quote unquote, good at them, or at least decent at them, to get through the stuff that happens. And so that makes them a very different and challenging form of expression to deal with. And I think people who want to express stories in those mediums. That's why they've gone to things like doing like the Gone Home thing or the Firewatch thing or the Edith Finch thing, because they want people to experience their stories and what they want to express. And some of that stuff, especially in Edith Finch, exists expressly in a video game form. Like the way you interact with that game, you couldn't experience a story like that if you were just reading it or if you were just watching it. But you can't fail, really, you know? So because of that, you're allowed to experience it, have interactivity, but keep going on through. And I think that this is one of those things, and this is a whole, leads to a whole other pipeline discussion, where I can't handle the like gatekeeping bullshit that people put on games and talk about how games used to be so hard and they're for babies now and blah 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 blah. It's all gatekeeping bullshit that it aims to keep out people who want to get into games, who didn't grow up with an NES controller in their hands, away. They want to keep the real gamers in and keep the expanded audience out. No, a lot of the time that translates to, unfortunately, women, and unfortunately people who don't traditionally aren't really known as gamers, you know, which is also a bullshit distinction in itself, right? This is why I cannot stand that barrier. There are very hard games, and they deserve to exist, and they still exist. We have, in fact, since Dark Souls or Demon Souls made its like debut, developers have gotten much more emboldened to make very difficult games again. But I think having games anybody who can play, just because they're not, even if they're comfortable holding a controller or not, is really important. And I think difficulty levels on games are extremely important, because somebody should be able to play the game no matter what their skill level is. There should be no, if they pay their $60 or their $30 or their $20, they should be allowed to play that game and to its completion. So if you need to put a mode in that goes like, just basically play it for me, like that should be fine. I'm not saying everyone has to do that, but it should be fine, because you want as many people as possible to play your games, because they are expensive to produce and they are expensive to buy. I could rant for hours about this topic. It really, really bothers me when people get on to this like high horse bullshit about video games. Like you should be able to get more out of a game that is mechanically complicated if you are more adept mechanically at playing something. But there should be a place for people who aren't that as well. Like that's what I always think, and it doesn't dilute or anything what the experience is for you. People get too hung up, and this is not just on video games, it's on everything, about like my experience is altered because someone else's experiences was different. Like that is the most bullshit thing in the entire world. It happens in comics, it happens in games, it happens in movies. I don't care. Sorry, Matt, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. That's what's interesting is, I think if anything is holding back the medium of video games, it's the same thing that's holding back. You talk about gatekeeping. It's absolutely a problem. Like I think people just want to have a community. Like they want to have like an association with a hobby. Like for example, I have recommended comics to my friends before, or like people I work with and things like that. And like, oh no, I'm not into comics. And to me, that's like saying, oh no, I'm not into movies because I don't like comedies. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, for me, it's like, well, there's a comic that you'd probably really like. Like it's a form of telling a story. Just like I think there's a video game that you would really like. I think I'm with you with the whole like shutting people out just because. But then there's the same level of like people perpetuate that problem because they want to have that association. They want video games to transcend and be theatrical and be cinematic and be for everybody. But at the same time, they also want to keep people out and say, well, you can't play that, or you're doing that wrong. It's like if someone goes to see a Star Wars movie and just because they don't know who freaking Nien Nunb is, they can't enjoy it. Right. It's bogus.
Yeah, but, absolutely. Yeah. Sam, you have any thoughts about this? We totally went off a totally different direction, but
didn't think Nien Nunb would be coming in.
No.
I just want to say, like, I feel like right now we're kind of in the golden age of video games, at least for me, because the way they're built and the way they are so accessible, and they have like the easy mode for people. It's so fantastic. Like there's so many games that I can play and have a good time with because I was younger. I remember I bought Resident Evil 2 before because I loved the movies. I thought it would get into the games, and I put this game in, and like I couldn't survive 30 seconds. And like I tried over and over again, and I just kept dying, and eventually I just like, well, I can't play this game. And it's been sitting in my cabinet for years because I've just never been able to play it. So I really appreciate like where we are now and all the options and abilities that we have to really enjoy video games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I should say, I want to make sure that it's clear what I was saying before. I'm not saying that women do not have the ability to play video games as well as men. I am not saying that at all, because I am terrible at video games, and I've been playing video games since I was 3. You know, and I can tell you right now, Sam is way better than me at just about every video game she ever plays. She got a platinum trophy in Resident Evil 7, for God's sakes, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You gotta
any platinum trophy, I'm impressed.
You gotta beat that game on like super hard difficulty, and like you also gotta beat it in like what, 4 hours or whatever it is. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. So I just think it's all bullshit, and people need to just be comfortable and be secure in the way you want to play and the way you do your thing, and don't make it about what everybody else does. This is not at all what the question was about. We spun totally off. I don't want to rope Kyle into like this whole discussion we came into.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. God damn it, Kyle. He was asking a very earnest question just about games and their lengths and their stories, and we spun off into something totally different.
What are we talking about? Disney movies?
Disney movies, yeah. Okay. We have 2 more listener questions, but we're going to get to those. We're going to save those for next week because we went deep on that one. Both Heavy Arms and Jeff Beaton sent in questions, and we'll get to those next week for sure. We've got a lot of cool stuff that's coming out every day from as far as videos go. Monster Closet and Heroes Hideout came out on Wednesday, so if you're listening to this live, that's today. If you're listening to this after that, it was Wednesday. Ladies' Choice, Primal Carnage, Sam, was that the game? I don't know where you're finding these games, by the way.
They were on sale. If it's something on sale, I'm just going crazy. Just hold me back, because
what is Primal Carnage?
It's a problem.
I have no idea what Primal Carnage. You have to watch Ladies' Choice.
It's dinosaur.
Wait, is this?
Yeah, you get to play as either a hunter that is killing dinosaurs, or sometimes you can play as the dinosaur and you try. No, it's not Primal Rage.
Okay.
Dinosaurs that try to kill hunters. So it has some server issues. I think it's been out for a while. There's not a ton of people playing, but it's a lot of fun. It's $20 now, I think. But guys, I got it for $3.99, and totally worth it. It's a lot of fun, so you should check it out. So,
oh man,
I'm done talking.
I thought they remade Primal Rage, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with people?
Yeah, no, we're not that crazy. They're not that crazy,
okay,
Matt. Every Friday the 13th videos come out. Also, every Friday morning we're doing some PUBG, and my morning run is on Thursdays. If you're listening to this, it's probably past that point already. I am supposed to play Daddy's Dream Daddy, the dad dating simulator. It's on Steam. I don't know if it's actually going to be out by the time I do my thing tomorrow, because it has like it says when we started, it said 18 hours. Yes. So I think it's going to come out like at noon tomorrow. So I don't think I have time to. I don't think it'll be out by the time. If it's out, I will play it. I guarantee you, I will download that shit and I will play it. If not that day, another day for sure. Yeah. And then we've got our community night this Saturday, I believe 7 to 9 Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be playing some PlayStation 4 games. It'll be streaming on our Twitch channel, so twitch.tv/talkinggames. So make sure you check that out. If you want to join in, you know, I'm Angelus104 on PSN, so you can friend me, or you can friend Sam or Cody. Sorry, go ahead, Sam.
So much fun to watch.
I was just gonna say we're still trying to figure out what games we want to play on Saturday. That's You is one that we don't know how many people, if people are comfortable playing it. At a game called Hawken, which is like you've got mechs. It's a little bit like Titanfall 2. That one's kind of fun. It's a free to play because we're trying to find games that anyone has access to. So I know we've played Killing Floor 2 before. It was a lot of fun. But if you have any suggestions for games you want to play, and especially games that are free that people can get in easily, just let us know because we're always looking for fun stuff to do. That's the end.
Oh, I love that she says that's the end.
I know. So please join us and we'll play and we'll figure out stuff to do. We'll get into a party and we'll play. If you're going to join us on the stream, just make sure that in your kind of voice sharing settings on the PS4, you turn on voice sharing so that your voice shows up on the stream. Because the PS4, we're streaming internally through the PS4, so you have to click that or you don't end up getting through. If you want to follow us on Twitter at @talking_games, check out, subscribe to us on iTunes. Please leave us a review. That would be amazing. Go to youtube.com/talkinggamesvideos. Check out all the videos we've been talking about. Twitch.tv/talkinggames for our live streams. Check out stuff we're doing. I'm at Bobby Shortle on Twitter. Matt.
Oh, I'm at Johnny Matt Wood.
And Sam.
Oh. This is... Have you timed this? Oh my God.
At SKSU.
Are you in the negative zone?
It was a 40-second delay for us, Sam, just so you know. Whenever you hear my voice, it was a 40-second delay.
The hell are you? I feel like I'm in frequency or something here. Talking to my dad in his 70s.
Oh my God! I don't think our usual outro is going to work very well on this one.
Oh, please.
That's going to do it for the Talking Games podcast. Until next time, thank you, Matt.
Oh, thank you, Sam. You can tune into Legendary Runs this weekend. We're doing Gail Simone's Wonder Woman. This should be fun. Over on the Talking Comic side.
I think she's laughing at your frequency joke right now.
Oh my God. You ever see The Lake House?
Thank you, Bobby.
Oh my God. She's faking it. There's no way this is real.
No, she would not fake it. She would not fake it. And thank you to all of you who are listening. Until next time, be good to one another.
Oh,